Good morning. Today I am going to talk about the week of this week, 18th through the 24th, for the astrology that is taking place. And currently we have Moon conjunct South Node in Scorpio in the eighth house. So, what might that mean? Well, I believe for me, what that is symbolizing is that an energy that has not been spoken, that unconscious is being revealed. And the eighth house is about money. It's about detectives, surgeons, digging things up, excavating, sex, death, rock and roll. It has massive implication. But at this time, what are we experiencing? Well, we're experiencing a good deal of coldness in our governmental process, with inflation taking place, threat of war upon all of us. War is being conducted upon some of us, which is really all of us. This war is financial in nature. What is the South Node suggesting? It's suggesting how we excavate the money from the masses. War. Okay. So what do we get as our first card, as our foundation for this reading? For this week, we get the Father of Arrows. And the Father of Arrows, this is Emmy Brady, okay, is suggesting that what we have going on, Capricorn, it's in government, it's cold, it's precise, it's structured, it's disciplined, it has a direction. And where we're feeling troubled, our moon, is that we're not feeling heard. We're not feeling like our needs are being listened to by this cold, indifferent buzzard, if you will, right? Here, consuming us. Our financial issues we're being consumed, okay? And so what do we have? Well, we have, as our first card, we have the Mother of Horns. It's about the family, us being in this place of just really difficult reality where we're having to dig deep for something that's not available to us, money, to feed our families, to provide gas to our cars. It is getting more and more by the day to be difficult. And where's leadership on this? Well, we don't know. We're hearing that maybe we'll get a little bit of a gas card or we'll get something, but I don't think we're hearing the level from the government that we need to be hearing. Oh, no, that's not the right card. It's in my... Anyway, we're not hearing what we need to be hearing from our people in leadership at this time, and it's creating a good deal of discontent because we need ways to take care of our family. And what supports this further is this card, the Moon, that is suggesting that we're subconsciously seeking answers to our issues that seem to have no real accountability. This unconscious, unseen. And here we have an owl, and an owl can sometimes symbolize an omen where the moon at this time isn't functioning in some ways to our benefit. What is happening in the unseen, we're not being told. We're not properly being communicated with. Okay, so, and down below you have a crab in water where we're having to harden ourselves to survive. We're having to mask for our pain. That at this time things are very difficult. Now we're getting ready to have additionally an eclipse on the 30th of April in Taurus with the North Node, where we're going to be really starting to see and work on issues of how we go about surviving maybe one of our more difficult times. And I think perhaps we're in a depression and haven't really been told this. We're in a depression for a lot of reasons, one of which we seem to think it's okay to overconsume, and we need to be taking care, nurturing, providing for, listening to the needs of those around us, and including the needs of our own planet, the home we live on. Okay? And what is the anchor card? Well, the devil. Those of us, in this sense, tied to within the family in codependency, being so busy with our day-to-day lives that we're unable to really stop long enough to understand the implications of what we've tied ourselves to survive, which is a governmental process that may or may not be listening to us. Very unlikely that right now that Capricorn energy really cares very much. Capricorn is an earth-based, okay, and how he thinks is what it, that cold, dark, I wouldn't even say dark, but just cold, structured energy, versus this kind of where we tie ourselves in codependency to each other, thinking that devil could represent how we tie ourselves to government and expect them to have all the answers. And perhaps that's not a realistic goal anymore. Perhaps how we have government needs to be reevaluated, because maybe government isn't serving us in the ways we need any longer. It is an old system, and we do have rather old and tried methods that haven't worked. So, we're tied to this energy, this devil, okay? And then what happens, where are we at? Well, we're on this grand ride, this chariot ride. We're being driven somewhere into what is going to be our future. And a lot of us are feeling a good deal of anxiety as the many aspects of the truth unfold that we have yet to see. History is a great teacher. Being in the here and now, in the present, sometimes it's easy to miss the details. And the chariot, you're going by so fast, how would you have time for the details to understand the impacts on the family? We are going through a rapid transformation in how government operates and how we as a system, and a monetary system at that, operate. And perhaps that is going to change. Our final card in this is the Death card. Okay, we are experiencing a form of death. You can see that there is all this energy down below, and it reminds me of a dream I had where I was going through a tunnel, a medical tunnel, as I was getting sick, which, as I have said several times to many people, including on Facebook, I have cancer. And I had a dream that basically I was going through a tunnel and that I could thrash about and be cut by the edges. And you notice that there's these horned edges here. It just really reminds me of that card, right? Death, that process that we get in, where I could fight death. I could fight the process of going through death, and I will be cut along the edges if I go that route, right? Or I can gently, kindly understand that I am in this process. But so aren't we all. Agreeing to life is also a process of agreeing to death. Well, we as a system, as people, are going through a death, if you will, of our system as we know it. We have been used to having a government that provides us the answers financially, politically, socially, gives us rules, tells us how to do it. And what we're finding is these rules apply to us, but not to those who are actually in government, which is deeply concerning. And how can we agree to the clear discrepancies and issues that go with it, those discrepancies? Well, again, we're tied to that devil. And maybe that's the point. We need to wake up and see that we've been codependent, and that how we have operated in this system has been more or less under the influence of that codependency. And so I would ask you to really go in and do your work, okay? We just had a full moon. We're getting ready to have a new moon in 2 weeks on the 30th, okay? Do your work. Ask yourself, what is it that subconsciously I'm not maybe necessarily hearing in this? And how am I, as a human, acting in codependence to those around me? Excuse me. Yeah, this would be the card, the devil. How am I acting in codependence? What can I do to relieve myself of that process? Because in order for this to change, each and every one of us needs to wake up and be aware of our part in this transformation, okay? The chariot. We're all being transformed, okay? And largely where this transformation is happening is in the 10th house, Pluto, 28 degrees, where it is there shaking up how we understand and know our government to be. So a lot's happening this week. This could be kind of an active and busy week for us, seeing and knowing where our government might be going. And with that, I thank you for joining me here today.